So here we are going to discuss the difference between Lagrangian approach and eularian approach. Both are used for the study of fluid motion. First, we will discuss the basic characteristics of these two approaches, and then we will discuss an example to understand them more clearly. As we know that both are used to study the fluid motion, that is displacement, velocity and acceleration in fluid flow kinematics. And we also know that fluid flow kinematics includes the study of motion without considering forces and energy. If we consider the forces and energy along with the motion, then it is called fluid dynamics. So first, Lagrangian approach. It is the approach which uses the study of each and every particle in a flow field for the study of fluid flow behavior. Suppose we have a pipeline in which two fluid particles are moving, P and Q. Then in this approach we have to study the fluid flow by following both both particle P and Q. And generally the particles are very high in number, so this method becomes very lengthy because the equation involved will be very high also. But in cases when the number of particles are limited, as in case of space vehicle entrance or exit from the atmosphere, this method is very useful. This method is analogous to the closed system approach. Now the eularian approach, in eularian approach it is not required to follow each and every particle in a flow field. Instead of that, we consider a suitable section or point in flow field and concentrate on the fluid particles which are passing through the considered section only. So obviously the number of particles involved under study becomes very much less in numbers compared to Lagrangian approach. Because of that, it is an easy method compared to the Lagrangian approach, and that's why it is most commonly used. This method is analogous to the open system approach of the thermodynamics. To understand the difference between these two approaches more clearly, we will take an example. Suppose we have to study the traffic behavior of a city. Then Lagrangian approach will study the traffic behavior by following each and every vehicle available in the city, moving in the city, whereas the eularian approach will study the traffic behavior by selecting some suitable traffic signals, and it will concentrate on the vehicles which are passing through the traffic signals, considered traffic signals only. So obviously the work required in case of eularian approach will be much less than the Lagrangian approach. So if you found this information useful, please do subscribe and like the channel.